Hello students, today we will study science subject of standard 5th. Let's start lesson number 2, how do plants increase in number. In this we will study new plants from seeds, germination of a seed, seed dispersal, new plants from stems, leaves and roots. Next is how do non-flowering plants produce new plants. And last point is crops. Let's see what is in this chapter. There are so many plants around us. In the garden, parks or lawn, we see so many plants. At home also we keep a small plant. Plants reproduce in many ways. For example, flowering plants reproduce from seed. You see that flowering plants produce from seed. Another, some reproduce from their body parts like roots, stems and leaves. While some like fern, mushrooms and molds reproduce from tiny seeds-like structure. And this structure is called sporus. Take for example rose. Take an example of rose plant. If we use only stem of rose plant and reproduce, so we get a plant of rose. Let's start new plants from seed. How we reproduce new plant from seed. Most plants bear seed. Why do you think a seed is necessary for a plant? Think it. Plants have seeds so that they can produce more of their kind. A seed is a part of a plant that grows into a new plant. Seed is a part of a plant and it grows into a new plant. Generally, seeds are found inside the fruit. You see in the fruit, for example, apple. There are 2, 3, 4, 5 seeds inside the apple and it is small. They are of a different size, shapes and colors. In every fruit, fruits are different. So the seeds are also different. Then parts of a seed. Take seed of a bean, it is hard and dry. Yes, you see in a mango also, there is only one seed and it is too much hard and cannot be broken easily. Soak the seed in water and leave it overnight. You take that seed and keep in a water for overnight. Then see in next day in the morning, take the soaked seed and look at it. The thick outer covering of seed is called the seed coat. You see that seed, the outer part is called the coat covering or a seed coat. It protects the seed. On one side of the exterior of the seed is the scar. One side is exterior of the seed is the scar. It is where the seed was attached to its pod. हम देखते हैं उसका जो आउटर साइड होता है इट इज कॉल्ड अ स्कार. वन साइड एक्सटीरियर इट इज कॉल्ड अ स्कार. और जो उसका अंदर का पार्ट होता है उसे कहते हैं पॉड. द स्कार प्ले एन इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल फॉर द प्लांट एज इट अलाउज एयर एंड वाटर इन एंड आउट ऑफ द सीड ड्यूरिंग द जर्मिनेशन. रिमूव द सीड कोट केयरफुली. अब हम उसका कोट बाहर का जो है वो निकाल देंगे. द सीड हैज टू seed leaves also called as cotyledons. The cotyledons protect the baby plant. See in this picture we see parts of a seed. We see here parts of a seed. This part is called cotyledon. Then next, the cotyledon protect the baby plant, store food and provide nourishment to the seed till it turns into a baby plant. Some plants have one cotyledons while some have two cotyledons. Yes, every fruit have different types of seeds. So they have one cotyledons or two cotyledons. Between two cotyledons is the baby plant called the embryo. See in this picture. Here baby plant will grow. In between cotyledons, a baby plant will grow and it is called embryo. The embryo inside the seed grows into a young plant. Okay? The baby shoot develops from the plumule of the embryo and the baby root develops from the radicles. This one is radicles. Okay? And it is called a baby root also. Then next, it is a baby shoot. Baby shoot or plumule. And it is baby root. Radicle also called a baby root. Okay. Then next, germination of a seed. A seed grows into a new plant. When the embryo grows out from the seed, we say that the seed has germinated. The process by which a seed grows into a baby plant is called a germination. The baby plant is called the seedling. Okay? What do seeds need to germinate? What do seeds need to germinate? में सीड क्या करता है जर्मिनेशन के लिए. Okay? Here you take 4 shallow dishes A, B, C and D. Place some cotton wool in a dishes. Keep some bean or a mustard seed on the cotton wool in each dish. Do as follows and see here. What do you observe in first picture? Take 4 dishes A, B, C and D. Soak the cotton wool with the water all the time and keep the dish at a place where it gets adequate air and sunlight. This is dish A. Then take dish B. Soak the cotton wool with water all the time and keep the dish in the refrigerator. Then take in dish C. Immerse the seed in water and keep the dish at a place where there is adequate air and warmth. Then take dish B. Let the cotton wool remain dry and keep it at a place where it gets adequate air and warmth. Then see, you will find that only the seeds in a dish A have germinated. You do at home. Take 4 dishes and do different kinds of method. This shows that a seed needs water, warmth and air to germinate. ये आपको बताता है कि हमें किन किन चीज़ों की ज़रूरत है. वाटर, warm and air to germinate. Dish A satisfies all the three conditions. Hence the seeds in a dish A have germinated. Okay. Seeds in a dish B did not get warm and so did not germinate. Seeds in dish C did not get air, so they did not germinate. See in a dish D. You will yet got warm and air but did not get water, so they did not germinate. Seeds need air to breathe. Water helps the baby plant to break out of the seed, and the warmth is required by the cell of the seed to become active. Thus, air, warmth, water are the three conditions necessary for germination. Seeds do not need sunlight to germinate. Then only need warmth. In nature, seeds germinate inside the soil where sunlight does not reach. Okay. Then next, growing up of a seed. In this we will see growing up of a seed. When a seed is exposed to proper condition, it begins to grow in a new plant. Yes, the seed coat breaks open and the white structure, that is root of the plant, begins to grow. It is called as radicle. See in this diagram the roots of a plant. Here the roots of a plant begins to grow and it is called a radicle. Okay. Then next, when the root appears from the seed, we say that the seed has germinated. Here it is come out radicle. After a few days, the shoot develops containing the leaf and stem. The first true leaf emerges from the between the cotyledons. The stem then straightens out and the shoot sprout the leaf. This young plant is called a seedling. The cotyledons remain attached to the sprout leaf. This young plant is called the seedling. Okay. The cotyledons remain attached and young plant and provide the food to the seedling until its leaves begin to make a food. This is called a primary root. Here radicals come out, then it grows and it is called a primary root. Same next picture, the seed coat will open. This is seed coat. After this seed coat will open and it grow. The roots will grow. Then here is cotyledons come out. The cotyledons remain attached to the young plant. Here it is cotyledon. It will attach to plant. Then see in the next process. It will seedling. Okay. The leaves will be increasing size. The seedling needs to correct amount of air, water and warmth and fertile soil to grow into a healthy plant. When the seed inside the earth absorbs water around it, water reaches begin. The first step of the leaves come out with the shoot or a cotyledon. For all these changes of germination, essential condition or factor are required. Next is seed dispersal. In lesson number 1, I have told you that seed dispersal means moving of a seed or spreading away of a seed. Both are same. You know that the seeds germinate in the soil. Everyone knows that seeds germinate in the soil. Once the seeds are fully developed, they must land somewhere else to germinate. If all the seeds landed near the parent or the mother plant, it would get very crowded for them. Also, the mother plant might obstruct light or water reaching them, thereby preventing their proper development. So, the seeds must move away from the mother plant in order to get enough space to grow. The spreading away of a seed is called a seed dispersal. Dispersal of a seed is very important as each seed gets enough space, air, warmth and nutrition to grow into a healthy plant. How do seed dispersal? Next is how do seed disperse? Okay. They travel. They cannot just get up and walk to a new place, but they spread themselves and grow into a new plant. Some seeds have special structure which help them to move away from the mother plant. How do they do so? The answer is very simple. Using the forces of nature, let us understand them. Dispersal by wind. Wind is a natural force which is the most common method of seed dispersal adopted by the plant. Small seeds are dispersed away by the wind as they have a little weight by a large surface area. Some seeds may have parachutes like cotton, dandelions and milkweed, which make it easy for a wind to carry them away, or a wings like a pine and Indian elm, which help them float in the air. Then dispersal by water. We have seen dispersal by wind. The next is dispersal by water. Some seeds are dispersed by water. Such plants grow near or in a water. They have fruits and seeds that have light weight and are able to float easily on the surface of water. For example, a coconut fruit has a fibrous cover and air trapped in between its husk, which make it light and easy to float. Water lily and lotus have a spongy outer casing, making them float easily. Then next is dispersal by animals. Dispersal by wind, water and animals. Okay. Animals and birds disperse plant seeds and fruits in two ways. They eat the seeds or fruits and pass the seeds in a pieces or scattering them. Women to spread seeds far away from the place where they grow. Secondly, way of a dispersal of a seed in when the seeds having hooks or spines get attached to the fur, hooks, bark or spines present on the body of animals and are dropped off to new locations where they germinate. See in this picture, blackberries, cherries, bud of seeds and sandbar seeds. Then next is dispersal by explosion. Dispersal by explosion. Fruit of some plants like pea, bean, geranium and ladyfingers explode or burst open when they get ripened or dried. Pea and bean plants have their seeds in a pod. When the seed gets ripened and the pod gets dried, the pod bursts open and the seed gets thrown and gets scattered away from the mother plant. See here example in this diagram. Pea seed, balsam plant and geranium. Dispersal of a lady fingers by explosion. Next is new plants from stem or leaf or root. Let's see how new plants from stem. In this we will see cutting, shearing and grafting. In some plants, flowers do not produce fruits or seeds. In such plants, new plants are produced from the roots, stems, leaves and buds. First point is new plants from stem. Potato and ginger are underground stem. Have you seen small shoot-like structure emerging from potato or a ginger kept in your kitchen? Can this grow into a new plant? Yes, they do grow into a new plant. See in this picture. A potato having at least one eye will grow into a new potato plant. It has several small buds and it is called as eye on it. Each bud or eye will grow into a new potato plant. Then next, new plants of ginger and banana grows from the part of that stem which grows underground. Ginger grows from the part of its stem that grows underground. Onion and bulbs shaped underground stem. Plants such as onion, lily form bulbs which grow into a new plant. There are certain plants which produce long stem called as runner. See in this strawberry. Here is a runner. These grow and run along the surface of the ground and develop plantlets. New plants are obtained when the plantlets are separated from the parent plant. Then next is cuttage. Take example of a rose plant. A new rose plant grown from stem cutting. Some plants like rose, money plant and hibiscus grow into a new plant just by stem cutting of the mother plant. When a part of the growing region of the stem is kept in the moist soil, it develops roots and grows into a new plant. Next is layering. In this method, a layer of a soil is placed on a portion of a branch of some plant. You can do this example at your home also. The soil around the branch causes roots to sprout on the branch. Then the branch is separated out and it grows into a new plant. Okay? Then next is grafting. In grafting, a healthy growing part of a certain plant is attached to another plant and it is called a stalk. See here. In this picture we see the stalk. This is the stalk of a plant which grows well and faster in the region. These stalks provide the root system and the lower part of the new plant. The part which is attached to the stalk becomes the upper part of the plant and thus provides flowers and fruit. And this plant is called the grafted plant. Next, new plant from leaf. See here. In a bryophyllum plant, the thick and fleshy leaves produce baby plant along its edges. This plant also we can grow at a home, bryophyllum leaf. When these leaves drop down to the ground, this plantlet grows into a new plant. Then next, new plants from roots. Roots of some plants like sweet potato, carrots, radish, turnip and dahlia produce new plant. See the picture of sweet potato, carrot and turnip. Then next is new plants from sporus. Plants like fern do not have flowers or seeds. Such plants have sporus on the underside of their leaves. These sporus fall to the ground and give rise to the new plant. See here, mushrooms and fern. Then next, how do non-flowering plants produce new plants? How do non-flowering plants produce a new plant? Some plants like pine, fire and cedar do not produce flowers throughout their life. However, they produce cones inside the flowers which have seeds inside them. New plants produce from these seeds. Next is crops. Crops are the plants that are grown in a field on a large scale to provide food and other useful things to women. All crops need air, water, sunlight and a good fertile soil. However, different kinds of crops grow well under a different condition. Take example like wheat and gram grow well in the cold weather, while rice and maize grow well in a hot weather. Where rice and jute grow well is soil and require lots of water. Bajra and wheat on the other hand grow well in a sandy soil and require less water. We will see two seasons, summer and winter. In summer crops and winter crops, what will happen? In summer season, summer crops are called as kharif crops. These crops grow from June to October. Take example, rice, maize, bajra, jute and pulses are a kharif crops. Remember it. Some vegetables like onion, brinjal, tomato, garlic, gourd and pumpkin. And some fruits like mango, lychee, melon, peach and apricot grows best in a summer season. These are vegetables, fruits and crops names which grows in a summer season and it is called as kharif crops. Then next is winter crops. Winter crops are called as the rabi crop. These crops grow well from November to April. Wheat, gram, peas and mustard and rabi crops. Wheat, gram, peas and mustard are a rabi crop. Some vegetables like carrot, radish, cauliflower, peas and beans. And some example of fruits like apple, banana and berry grows best in a winter. Tea and coffee plants need moist soil and grow best in the field where water is not allowed to collect. This is the reason why they grow well on the slopes of hilly areas like Darjeeling and Nilgiri. A good crop. Farmer works very hard to grow good and healthy crop. Yes, if we went to a place, we see that farmers do very hard work. They keep the following points in a mind for cultivating a good crop. Take some example like the soil should be suited to the kind of a crop grown and the entire field should be well ploughed so that the soil loosens up. Good quality seeds should be sown to get a better crop. Manure and fertilizers should be added to the soil and to make it rich in a minerals and fertile. And next is right amount of water. Everyone knows water is necessary. Water should be given to the crops at the right time. Farmer knows the right time. Proper fencing should be put around the field as it protects the crop from grass eating animals like cows and buffalo. A scarecrow should be put between the crops as it helps to keep the birds away. Crops should be protected against diseases, insects and small animals. Insecticides and pesticides should be sprayed to kill insects like grasshoppers, caterpillars, plant lice and locusts. Unwanted plants. You see that there will be so many unwanted plants come. Take the nutrients from the soil and hurt a crop's intake, so they should be removed. The harvested crops should be protected from moisture, insects and small pests like rats, moths and squirrels. Moisture allows growth of bacteria and fungi and can spoil the harvested crop. So they should be stored in a dry place or in an airtight container. Perishable crops like flowers, fruits and vegetables, they cannot be stored for a longer period. So they should be transported to the market quickly. Lastly, in short, I will explain you how to plant increase in number. New plants from seeds, then germination of a seed. In this we have learned that air, water and warmth are the three conditions necessary for the germination. Then growing of a seed. Here the seed, see in this picture the stages of germination. Then next is growing up of a seed. Then the next point is seed dispersal. In this, how seed dispersal by wind, water, animal and explosion. Then next, flowering plant. In flowering plant, we have seen that seed, stem, leaf and root. Through the leaves, we have seen the example of bryophyllum. Through the roots, we have seen the example of carrot. And seed, that is a seedling. And flowering plant from the stem, it has the three stages: cuttings, layering and grafting. Then the non-flowering plant. In non-flowering plant, we have seen that sporus. Here is the example of fern.